It's Wednesdays with Keegan, and I thought we'd be joyous. One game over 500. It was there. The Toronto Blue Jays with a 2-run lead, top of the ninth after coming back. Louis Varland, come on out of the pen. Louis Varland, come on out. Nope. Louis Varland did not come out of the pen, and the Toronto Blue Jays lost in extra innings. Where should we start? I want to start with why Varland was not pitching in the top of the ninth.
Seems like it was a down day for him, which I know people aren't going to want to hear, especially when you think back to the all-time great, Blue Jays relief seasons, because that's what we've been comparing Louis Varland to lately, is those seasons from Dwayne Ward and Tom Henke and Mark Eichhorn back in his kind of crazy year. But when you look back through those seasons, of course, like Dwayne Ward's the example that I am starting to use more often for Louis Varland. And Dwayne Ward's run from 88 to 92, I just have up in front of me, where he's pitching 100-plus innings out of the bullpen 5 years in a row. It's crazy. Like, I think you could drop Dwayne Ward into 2026 Major League Baseball, but that's an aside. I think that this is an example of modern baseball, where you are trying to manage a workload of Louis Varland. Maybe we'll hear more today. We'll see. But there was nothing obvious with him. There was no health issue we were told of. So this feels like just a management day where Louis Varland was down. And when you make that decision, unfortunately, that usually means you're down for the day no matter what, because you typically give that pitcher the afternoon off from a lot of the warm-up stuff. Like, you just tell them, rest your body. And in a perfect world, that happens when your team blows someone out 13-2 or gets blown out and you don't need the closer. Unfortunately, last night it hit on a night the Blue Jays really needed Louis Varland. They needed him to do exactly what he's done all year, and it backfired on them. So this is a rough one for the Jays, Dan. Like, that game last night was one of the worst losses of the season. Like, I don't mean to be dire, like it's June 24th, but they had so many opportunities to win it. And it lined up so well for the narrative of, like, Bieber's back, they're over 500, here they go. Hockey's over, basketball's over, everyone get back on the Blue Jays. It was right there for them. And they fumbled that. Man, it's so many opportunities to win that game.
I'm still on Varland. So you say, okay, you don't have to pitch today. But is someone in that clubhouse not saying, but he's our closer? He has one job. When we have a lead in the ninth, we are bringing you in. When we don't have a lead in the ninth, you're good. That's what a closer does.
You'd love to. But does that closer have an elbow into UCL in October? I don't know.
But they had the day off. He pitched one inning on Monday. He should have been good to go.
I was actually surprised because Dan, I'll be honest, the days blend together for me. Yeah. So I don't usually have bullpen usage in my mind. So I even have to check. Like, when I'm at a game and I didn't see Louis Varland coming out, this is on Tuesday night's game, I had to check. I don't have that sheet mentally in my mind. When I did not see him warming up for that inning, mentally I thought, oh, he must have pitched the last 2 or 3 days, and I was surprised that he hadn't. I just always assume Louis Varland has thrown 3 of the last 4 days, but this seems to be, and I'm really interested to see, Dan, the next 2 or 3 weeks. Like, if you're going to downshift on a few of these guys, Braden Fisher included, Mason Fluharty, Jeff Hoffman, Tyler Rogers all included, if you're going to downshift for a little bit, this is the pocket you would do it in. Mid-season, coming up around 81 games. I'm interested to see if there's more of this in the next few weeks, because the Blue Jays know that they've run this bullpen way too hard. Like, it's not a secret to anyone. It is not something they're going to try to hide from. Like, this bullpen's gassed. It's absolutely gassed, and we saw that last night. And you can't do this all season. In a perfect world, you have some starters going 8 innings and giving the bullpen essentially a day off. In a perfect world, you have an offense that can blow a team out once a week, maybe, and give them a day off. But I'm interested to see if there's more of this, which I know you'll love. I this could be a really great couple of weeks for Dan O'Toole, everyone. It's going to be good. But, man, it's that mid-season kind of easing off with October in mind, because I trust Louis Varland, like, just because of who he is and how he acts and his persona. I trust him to throw 120 times a year. I don't care. And in the back of my head, there's this chirping bird like, "Hey, the human elbow, the human elbow." But man, Louis Varland just seems like a guy who is exempt from that almost with what he's able to do.
Here's the problem with this team that every Jays fan that's followed this year's club, there has been no we can relax moments
Yeah.
at any point of the season. And I like this is blowout losses. This is come from behind wins. There have been no comfortable moments with this club.
Exactly. It's and I don't mean this in a selfish way, but just to frame it with how this works. Like when I'm covering a game, I'll start to write my story in the 5th or 6th inning. Blue Jays win, so that way that when the game is over, boom, you have a story to read. Every story I write gets blown up this year. And that's okay. It's not a hard job, but it's just as an example of how screwed up so many of these games have been. And it makes it hard to trust what is happening on the field. When I see the Blue Jays are up 5-1 and I start writing a story, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, okay, I gotta start writing a loss story off to the side. When they are trailing 5-1 and I'm writing, oh, it's a bad loss, I know they're going to come back, whether it's a fake or a real comeback. You just don't trust any result to settle into it. And that is what happens when you are an inconsistent team. You get inconsistent, unpredictable results. Last year, the Jays were easier to predict. They were the comeback kids. They would stay in every single game, and that was in a different way. This year is just chaotic. You don't know which way it's going to break or bend. And that is only fun if you're a really good team. Good chaos, that's fun to watch. Average team chaos is not fun to watch. And that's what we're seeing now, where you just don't know who it's going to be, how it's going to break day to day. And these games that, again, they've got to be winning. Like we should be talking about a Blue Jays team that's over 500 for the first time since April 3rd, which would be just such a good narrative to go forward. You're no longer reaching back to try to photocopy the 2025 season. You're starting your new identity, but they keep just stumbling a little bit, and just based on talent alone, they can be around 500. This is not a bad baseball team. It's an underachieving baseball team. It's talented.
So let's go through your stories that you had written throughout the game. So they don't go to waste. I assume one of those stories would have been about Bieber's return.
Yep.
Okay. What were the other ones?
Bieber's return was a big one. Kazuma Okamoto being the engine of this offense was another, because it looked like his RBI single, 2-run single to put them up 6-4. It looked like that would be the big one. And then you get into the late innings and you start writing ahead, because I've got the meat of the story and you start adjusting the top of it. Oh, here's what actually happened. Here's what happened. I see Vladdy walking to the plate, and I believe that was the 10th inning. Check me on that. But coming up there and you start to think, man, here comes the big moment from Vladdy. He's going to be the guy that says enough is enough. Here's a big swing. No, it doesn't happen. Then you get into the bullpen. And frankly, I had started writing that Braden Fisher just had his best performance of the year, because he was one pitch away from getting through those 2 innings. And if you can pitch 2 clean extra innings, it doesn't get better than that. You're starting with a runner on second base, and he was one pitch away from that. Boom, there it goes. Nothing stays with this team, which is the hard part to cover, and I imagine watch as a fan. It can be, maybe if you're a casual fan dipping in, like if you're a Seattle Mariners fan and you chuck on a Jays game when you're having a beer on the couch, maybe it's fun to watch because it's pretty wacky, chaotic baseball, but it's just not clean enough. And yesterday's game, Dan, was just, it wasn't good baseball. And some of my coworkers give me a hard time. I get very angry watching bad baseball. That play I'll use as an example, when Vladdy hit a dribbler back to Nate Pearson. Number one, Vladdy was not running up the line. Number two, Nate Pearson threw the ball like it was 700 pounds to first base and skips it. So Vladdy moves from a jog to a bit of a brisk gallop through first, signals himself safe, while Nate Pearson, it was just like, what are we doing here? Where are the mighty Astros that I've grown to know for the last decade, and where the hell are the Blue Jays? Right? It was bad baseball, and I tweeted this out, but a close baseball game is not a good baseball game by default. Sometimes it just means that neither team can figure it out.
And then it ends with a former Jay hitting one Ernie Witt style from one knee to right. Joey Loperfido.
I feel like Loperfido probably texted a bunch of the guys to apologize. He's such a nice dude, but that had to feel a little good. Even though he left on good terms, maybe there's a bit of a middle finger there. But Loper, that was a blast.
Yes,
man. Going right back to their 500 level home run, which I think was the 25th that's ever gone up there earlier in the game, number 3 out of 3 against Shane Bieber. But that Loperfido home run, actually, because we have a wonderful angle of the field. The press box is out in deep left field by the press box, so I never know what the hell's going on. And off the bat, I actually saw contact and put my head back down to start writing again because I thought it was foul. And then I hear the crowd kind of go, "Oh," and it's tough, man. Especially, we live in a narrative world, I'm aware. And after the stretch that Jesus Sanchez has had adventuring about the outfield, to see the guy you traded him for, who makes way less money, hit that game-winning home run is pretty rough.
We saw another fun tidbit about this Jays team. If you are acquired by the Jays or get called up, you will be instantly inserted into the lineup. And that was the case with Luis Urias.
And come play. It's open for someone to stick around. This is kind of the role that they tried with Lenin Sosa too, which didn't really work because Lenin Sosa likes to swing the bat every single time. But Luis Urias, going back, if you're listening to this and you're familiar with his name, if it's ringing a bell, because that's kind of what it was for me. When they picked him up, I said, God, who's that guy again? It's back in 2021 and 22 with the Milwaukee Brewers. He had a 750 plus OPS those years, a 20 plus homer year. He looked like a real legit, winning player for the Brewers for a couple of years. He's bounced around, but this is the type of solid veteran guy who is a bit more of a stable all-around game. With Lenin Sosa, you're hoping he runs into one, and there's going to be some good days and some very bad days. Urias is a bit steadier, and that's a good thing right now for the Blue Jays. He'll stick at least until Addison Barger is back, I think. And beyond that, the Jays will have a decision of where they want their extra depth, infield or outfield. But this is a deal that, even on the surface level, at first glance, I liked it a bit more than the Sosa addition because it fits the Jays' identity a bit more. And Urias knows his role, too. He knows he's not the starting shortstop anymore. He's going to fill in. Ernie Clement's a little banged up. He's got a hip thing, so makes sense. But, man, again, that was another thing I started writing last night, Dan. Look at the new guy. The Blue Jays picked him up right in time. Boom.
And then the Shane Bieber story you're going to write. We talked in depth Monday about how he's playing for a contract for next season. So he serves, it was Meatball Central. Should we be concerned about Shane Bieber's first start of the season?
Well, that's what it looks like when Bieber is not perfect. Because for so much of Shane Bieber's career, he has to walk a really fine line. He throws 92. Okay, last night he averaged 91.7. So he's essentially throwing 92. And when you do that, you need to be so damn good at throwing 92. For most of his career, he's nailed this. He has spotted his fastball so well. He's such an accurate pitcher. And he's mixed his other pitches. He's not going to overwhelm or baffle a hitter like Dylan Cease would, for example. He's so different than Dylan Cease. But Shane Bieber keeps hitters just a little bit off balance. You're never quite comfortable against him. That was what it looks like when you go onto the other side of that fine line, where when you miss your spot throwing 92, someone's going to hit it very far. When you miss your spot throwing 99, you can still strike a guy out. It doesn't matter much. So this is going to be an interesting few weeks for Shane Bieber coming up here. His last rehab start wasn't the best either. And while I want to give these guys some time to settle in and get reestablished, especially coming back off elbow surgery and a long rehab, the reality is that it's late June. Shane Bieber probably has 15, 16 starts left in this season. They've all got to be good. This is crunch time for the Blue Jays in this season, going up to the deadline in early August, going into a playoff race, which has already started. It's time to look at the standings every day right now. So there's not a lot of patience, which is tough and maybe unfair. but a lot of pressure really right now on Shane Bieber.
I have a Jays themed movie in mind, and here's the premise. Someone's on the phone with John Schneider. They say, George Springer is healthy. You've got him in the leadoff role. To save everyone in this stadium, all you have to do is not have him bat leadoff and put someone else in that spot. I'm sorry, that stadium's going up. That stadium's getting blown up. He is not pulling the trigger. Why?
No chance. It's I mean, number one, blockbuster movie. It sounds just
Liam
incredible.
Liam Neeson is in that movie.
Is John Schneider. They're really betting on George Springer, man. This reminds me of 2 years ago when George Springer had his bad season. And lately, this last week or two, Springer's looked much better. If it's coming around, it's going to be now. But this reminds me of a couple of years ago when people really, really didn't like that John Schneider defended George Springer like aggressively. Schneider's always going to have his guys' backs, but this was an outlier with George Springer. Like, it was foot in the ground, full, complete belief in George Springer. It didn't happen until the next year, last year in 2025. But Schneider like really went out of his way that year and really believed in him. And I've sensed some of that again this year. And I don't think it's going to change. I don't think George Springer's going to go anywhere. I'm interested to see if he plays some outfield coming up here soon. If you're the DH, you gotta hit. Like, your OPS needs to be comfortably over 800. You've got to be a star hitter. If you're DHing and your OPS is hovering around 700, that does not excite me. Springer's headed in the right direction. Other leadoff options would be like Nathan Lucas, maybe like put the ball in play types, Ernie Clement. But they're going to stick with it, man. It's I know it's everyone's favorite thing when John Schneider trusts his guys and sticks with them. It's when it pays off quite nicely, but when it doesn't, it can take a long time.
The other thing that's not going away, so Springer in the leadoff role is not going away, and the crowds are not going away. People, I don't know if we become just accustomed to this, but usually if you had a Tuesday night game in June, not everyone's out of school yet, and plus this was a 4:00 start because there was a World Cup game, so they wanted to alleviate some of the traffic. Yet there they were, packed in the dome again.
Jays even had one of those little tarps off sections going on.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Which, I mean, here I come as a Toronto hater, but I don't apologize. It's just a very Toronto thing to like do a trend or try to like ride the coattails of something late in the game, do a kind of watered down version of it, and then have your team lose. It's just it's a very Toronto thing. But I digress. They wouldn't do it like this in Nova Scotia. But the crowds, man, have been spectacular. And that matters to baseball, too. Like, it's not just, like, nice to see. It's important because the Blue Jays are spending a lot of money on this baseball team. Every single person who goes into that stadium, number one, Dan, they're not paying the ticket prices from 5 years ago.
No.
It is not cheap to go to a Toronto Blue Jays game. Nor is it cheap when you bring your kids with you, your family with you. You buy... a beer, a popcorn, a hot dog. Like, your day gets really expensive. Like it does anywhere. Like, this is not the Jays being out of line. It's just, that's what it's like in Major League Baseball right now, in any pro sport. So there's a lot of money moving through the old dome these days. And as you try to keep a payroll up, that matters, man. And I can't believe that they're still getting these Monday and Tuesday crowds. I thought that would fall off mid-season just because it always has. But you're seeing this team that still has the national interest, man. And it's right there for them. Like I said earlier, like the Raptors are done. The Leafs have been done forever. The World Cup will be done in a couple of weeks. All that's alive right now is going to be Blue Jays baseball. And you got a whole country of fans who are going to be looking to it. Are you going to be an average team then? Or are you going to give everyone a reason to say, oh, let's do this again. Let's jump on this again.
And I mentioned this on the latest edition of Bumsies, how John Boy was there for the Yankees series. If you don't know John Boy, he's the lip reader guy. That's how he rocketed up views, and I really like his work. But it was good to see and hear an outside perspective of the dome, where I'm like,
yeah,
you know what? It's not that bad, I guess, because we've been so harsh on the dome, but all the renovations, they have hit a sweet spot. And his remarks were, "This is a great stadium."
Oh man, it's a great experience. Like honestly, to go to a game there. Number one, being in the middle of downtown. We are spoiled to have a stadium in the middle of downtown where you're not driving out of the city, where you need to take your car or get off at a subway station that's on the side of a highway. Like it's a gift. It's so crucial. But also, like I saw the video he did, he was watching from one of those rooms in the hotel. Like
Yeah.
that's the most unique thing you got going. And I mean, listen, I measure my life in Marriott points, so I can talk about the beauty of the Marriott Hotel all day. Nothing will get me more excited. But honestly, whenever I have friends coming into town, Dan, I tell them like, go get a table at the windows in the restaurants and watch BP and have a few beers. Like
Mhm.
it's the coolest thing going. Even when I have friends in town, like I'll often go to the restaurant and the hotel Sportsnet Grill and like we'll just have a couple beers at the windows, and even if the stadium's nothing going on, it's so cool. Man, it's such a unique experience. And the renovations have landed, man. My aim was off with those when they happened because I'm a guy that likes to watch a game in complete silence and grunt a couple of times, right? But they're not for me, and that's okay. Like it's my friends, my girlfriend, my family who aren't hardcore baseball fans, they love going to games now because you got stuff going on. You can wander around, and it's really working. Honestly, like it seems to be resonating with the numbers.
When I used to live downtown, that was the greatest scam I discovered was if you just walk into the hotel and grab a bite to eat during a game, you can watch free baseball. I don't know if that's still the case, if you can still get into that hotel lobby bar and sit there for free, but I discovered it and I utilized that.
It's a beautiful place, man. It's a beautiful place. I love that spot. I did my book launch there actually. It's just like
Huh.
it's the coolest spot in the world, man. Like I remember when I was a kid, like we came up and went there, and like you see it on TV because that's where Carlos Delgado would hit home runs off the
Mhm.
windows, right? But it's awesome, man. And like when I have family up, I typically set them up at that Marriott for the night. And I feel like there's no more hidden gems in Toronto, Dan, because everything is just some idiot making a TikTok of, hey guys, here's a blah, blah, blah. And then 90 people are lining up to ruin it. But I'm still surprised that, like, I mean, that place doesn't have a lineup every day. Just like, because you can go in and just have a few beers and watch BP before a game. And it's sweet.
Look at that. See, we end on a positive note. Thanks, Keegs.
You got it, Dan.